Hello, my fellow seekers, and welcome back to the School of Buddha. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were holding on too tightly? Maybe to a person, an outcome, or even an identity you're scared to lose? If so, you're not alone. In today's fast-paced world, we often find ourselves clinging to success, to possessions, to expectations, hoping that holding on will give us security. But what if instead, freedom lies in letting go? In this video, we're diving deep into the Buddhist teaching of non-attachment and how this ancient wisdom can help us navigate our modern lives with more peace, clarity, and emotional resilience. We'll explore the philosophy behind it, the suffering that attachment creates, and most importantly, how you can practice non-attachment in simple, practical ways. So, take a deep breath, and let's begin. To understand non-attachment, we need to go to the heart of Buddhist philosophy. At the center of it lies what are known as the three marks of existence. Three simple but profound truths that the Buddha observed about all things. The first is impermanence, or anicca in Pali. Everything in our experience, our relationships, our thoughts, our emotions, even our bodies, is constantly changing. Nothing stays the same. We may try to hold on to people or moments, but life has its own rhythm of rising and falling. The more we resist this natural flow, the more we suffer. The second truth is suffering, known as dukkha. This suffering doesn't always mean pain. It includes discomfort, dissatisfaction, the stress of constantly wanting things to be different. Much of our suffering comes from craving, grasping for what we want, or pushing away what we don't. But when nothing lasts, this grasping only leads to more disappointment. And the third is the concept of non-self, or anatta. We tend to think there's a solid, unchanging me behind our experiences, but Buddhism teaches that this self is more like a process than a person. It's a bundle of ever-changing physical and mental phenomena. Our body, sensations, thoughts, emotions, and awareness. When we believe we are our thoughts or our roles, we cling to them, and when those things shift, we feel lost. But if we can see the self as something fluid, we suffer less when life changes. There's a beautiful teaching from the Anattalakkhaṇa Sutta where the Buddha says, form, feeling, perception, fabrications, and consciousness are not self. Seeing this clearly, the wise become disenchanted, and through that dispassion, they are released. That release, that lightness of being, that's the power of non-attachment. So why is attachment such a problem? The Buddha didn't condemn love or connection. What he cautioned against was the tendency to cling, to try and control or possess what was never meant to be fixed. There's a poignant verse in the Dhammapada that puts it plainly. Attachment to sensual pleasures begets sorrow. Attachment begets fear. For one free from attachment, there is no sorrow. How can there be fear? Think about it. When we attach ourselves too tightly to a person, an idea, or an outcome, we create fear. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of change, and then when life inevitably shifts, as it always does, we suffer. We mourn not just what is lost, but the illusion of control we thought we had. Attachment promises happiness, but delivers anxiety. Non-attachment, on the other hand, brings peace, not by removing joy, but by allowing it to come and go without desperation. Now, let's get practical. How can we begin to practice non-attachment in real life? One of the most powerful ways is through mindful awareness of impermanence. Every day, take a few minutes to observe how things are always changing. Notice how your mood fluctuates from morning to night. Observe how a craving arises, intensifies, and eventually fades. Even joyful moments. Notice how they peak, then naturally dissolve. Simply witnessing this rhythm helps loosen our grip. Another method is through body scanning. Sit quietly and bring your attention to different parts of the body. Feel each sensation as it is, without trying to change it. Maybe there's warmth, or tension, or tingling. Notice it and remember, it's all passing. The pain will soften, the itch will fade. Even the breath comes and goes. Everything moves. A second powerful tool is working with the idea of non-self, anatta. When you catch yourself overly identifying with a thought like, "I'm not good enough," or "this always happens to me," pause. Ask yourself, who is the I in this moment? Is it your body, your emotion, a memory? None of these are permanent. None of these are truly you. The Buddha taught a helpful mantra. This is not mine. This is not me. This is not myself. Repeating this quietly, especially in difficult moments, can help you create space between your awareness and your attachment. And finally, there's the practice of equanimity, or upekkha. It's the art of staying steady amidst life's highs and lows. We often chase after pleasure and run from pain, but equanimity invites us to sit with both without clinging or rejecting. One way to build this is through the 4 Brahmavihāras, the divine abodes. Metta, wishing others well with loving kindness, karuna, opening your heart to suffering with compassion, mudita, celebrating others' joy with empathy, and upekkha, maintaining balance, neither swayed by gain nor loss. Try this. The next time something pleasant or unpleasant happens, pause. Just name it. Pleasant, unpleasant. Breathe, smile, and let it pass. You don't need to control the wave. Just learn how to surf it. Let me share a little story. Picture yourself holding a handful of water. If you grip it tightly, trying to hold on as much as you can, what happens? The water escapes, dripping through your fingers. The harder you squeeze, the more you lose. But if you hold your hand open, gently, lightly, the water stays. This is exactly how life works. When we cling, whether to relationships, status, or even inner peace, we often lose what we're trying to keep. But when we hold life with an open hand, accepting its changing nature, we suffer less. And strangely enough, we end up receiving more. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means making space for flow, for freedom, for peace. So, what would it feel like to live a life of non-attachment? Not cold, not detached, but light, flexible, at ease. You still love, you still care, you still dream, but without the weight of needing it to go your way. That is the gift of Buddhist wisdom in the modern world. It's not about withdrawing from life. It's about engaging with it fully, without being entangled. Thank you for being here today. If this message touched you, I invite you to take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could use a little lightness in their life. And most importantly, drop a comment below. Tell us, what's one thing you've learned to let go of? Or what do you struggle to release? Your story might help someone else feel less alone. Until we meet again, hold gently, live fully, and may you walk the path of peace, one breath at a time.